And we're live once again, streaming in the north coast of California, here in Provised. We're here
I don't know what you're trying to say, but you're saying it really fast.
in the Iranian sector of Marin County.
His brain went faster than his lips.
Boss Cafe.
It's good to be with you again. It's good to be with our audience, who apparently, based on the statistics we reviewed this morning, there's more of you out there. It's great to see you. And feel free to comment. We'll answer your comments live if you have anything to say to us. And if you don't, well, enjoy your quiet solitude.
Yeah. So if you don't mind my asking, what tools do you have when you hit the wall of self and you're like, and what tools do you have to circumvent or climb over, walk around the walls of life?
The walls of life. Are you referring to the momentary bit of frustration that we experienced in our production meeting right before this?
Yeah, but I'm thinking generally, because I am at a place where, like yesterday, I posted this little funny clip of Jim, and I said, I've decided to live in a cartoon because it was an illustration. And there's some truth to that, in that, like, in fact, I was going to ask you this morning. Why are we alive?
So which question should I answer first?
I know, right? What's the purpose of oxygen? What does it actually do?
Okay, I'm going to take question one because I think that leads to question two.
Okay.
When I feel activated emotionally, when my nervous system becomes somewhat dysregulated as a result of stress or fear or anger, frustration, some emotion that's disruptive to my stability, my nervous system, I work with my body through my breath. And once I've engaged my physical body through breath, then I bring my mind into alignment with what I know to be true.
All right. So what do you know to be true?
You mean in this specific instance? It varies depending on what's going on. Right?
I thought you had a base truth.
Well, it's not a truth. It's in other words, instead of reacting to what the mind is triggered to try to tell me, I become an observer of what's occurring.
Okay.
And then I make a conscious choice about how to respond.
All right.
Now, sometimes the level of emotional energy is such that I actually have to experience the energy first and allow it, right? So there's different ways of doing that. If it's sadness, I allow myself to feel it and cry. If it's frustration, I allow myself to feel angry, right? And my desire is to be able to choose the words I use consciously in those moments. Like if I'm experiencing anger and frustration, I want to be at a level of alignment where I can say what needs to be said from a conscious place, as opposed to allowing the anger to be the voice that I speak with. And sometimes it's necessary to say, right now, I'm feeling angry. And then describe why, right?
Yeah.
Which is different than allowing the anger to run the vehicle.
Right. All right. So you said that this answer leads into the second question. Why are we alive?
Well, the question was, why do we have oxygen?
No, that's the third question.
Right.
What does oxygen actually do? But the second question is, why are we alive?
Okay, you're going to love this. It's a little complicated. I'll try to make it as clear as I can.
You have to say it quick. Say it quick.
Well, it's good because I did have some stimulants.
All right, good.
But point is, coming here to be in a body in mystery school is like going to the gym for your soul. And in order for your karma to be expressed in the biography and for your soul to evolve, you have to grapple with the reality on the Earth's mystery school, which is that you can do anything. You have the full range of possibilities before you. And you can do that from the point of view of, say, Mother Teresa, or the point of view of a Charles Manson, and all of the various ranges in between. And as a result of the cause that you create, effects occur, which is what karma means, cause and effect. And as a result of that experiential element, your soul embodiment, it has an opportunity to work itself out, to gain faculties, to gain capacities that would be considered more aligned with what the Buddhists describe as the Bodhisattva vow, which is, or what's in the book that we read with Bridge for a year, the Course in Miracles,
Oh,
which is this idea that we're all on a healing journey. So why are we alive? We're alive to exercise the ego and fashion it and fashion our soul life to a level at which healing can occur for ourselves and then collectively.
all right. So, what does oxygen actually do?
Well, it's just basic biology. You can ask Google for that. But what it does for me is
No, go ahead.
it infuses energy into me.
Yeah, but
Oxygen allows my body to be alive and activated.
okay, but here's the thing, like with gasoline in an engine, we know that gasoline goes into an engine where the pistons are, and there's a spark plug that shoots a spark. It ignites the gas, which pushes the piston down. And this process of pistons turns the axles of the wheels and the car goes. Oxygen goes into the body. And yeah, I realize it's part of the process of energy. But here's like, I did start to Google it a little bit, but I realized, like, because I asked, why are we alive? And I was like, I don't really know. And then I was like, well, what is oxygen really for? Like, like to just say, well, it goes into your lungs and you need it. And then you out breathe carbon dioxide. Like, okay, but what is happening? And you're right, there is this process where cells are creating energy that are running our body, similar to like gasoline in an engine.
Yeah, carbon and oxygen are part of a reciprocal chemical relationship that is part of being human, but also part of being a plant.
Yeah. And while part of living physical things on this planet, and it is pretty wild. It also had me thinking I need to masticate better, because what I briefly read quickly is how nutrients are absorbed through the process of breaking things down to such a level where these cells are
Yeah,
interacting with
right.
substances and chemicals, creating energy. I was like, oh, so this basic process of chewing one's food is really helping this body stay alive and healthy.
For sure. For sure. Yeah.
I mean, it just seems like there's so much going on with just the physical realm that I'm clueless about. And the more I actually begin to understand.
My understanding is that the physical sciences, 3D science, if you will, has only a piece of the picture, and there's a layer beyond that which we have even less understanding about.
Right. Right. And the collective we, because there's definitely people who are scientifically studying that realm. Um, I started listening to a guest, and I forget his name, on Joe Rogan, he wrote a book called True Magic. And he, in essence, is, as a scientist, exploring these other realms of like 4D and ethereal elements. Why some people, like, why you walk into a room and you can sense that someone's angry, like what's going on scientifically in that moment.
Well, what we used to call magic in some age-old era is now something we kind of put as science, and there's more magic that isn't yet understood as science. And so there's so much going on in that. One of the things I love is people enter a room and they say, "Ooh, there's bad vibes here." So what the hell is that, right?
Right.
Right.
That's yeah,
It's
exactly.
a sense. We have a sensory experience of it,
Hmm.
but, what I find is that hardcore materialists, for whom science is a very fine and refined discipline, no slight there, have a hard time dealing with things that don't necessarily fit the paradigm until someone does enough of an quote investigation, which is what you call an experiment. An experiment is an investigation where you provide a hypothesis and then you measure the hypothesis in a controlled environment so that you can determine whether the hypothesis is repeatable or not, which tells us a little bit, but it doesn't actually mean that the hypothesis is the whole story. It just means that we can experiment enough to sufficiently support the hypothesis. But then the next level is, well, let's refine the hypothesis to see if we can localize the awareness, the understanding greater. And
Yeah.
so this is the process that goes on and on. And what we're finding with quantum physics and quantum mechanics and um, energy is that the body has energy fields that we don't necessarily have good science for. And you and I studied something called, well, maybe you didn't. I don't know if you weren't actually in that, but there's this thing called the Kabbalion where there's 7 principles. And one of the principles is the principle of vibration, right? So everything vibrates. And this is a scientific fact. The molecules in my face are not fixed. They appear solid, right? To the finger. The finger does not go through the cheek.
Right.
Wait, yeah, it does. Anyway, so what does all that mean? I don't fucking know. I love thinking about it. I love being in the inquiry, being in the experiment, right? And what really frustrates me is when people get so convinced that they know. And then what I know about my own knowing is that when I get really attached to it, I'm getting ready to get a pie in the face.
Get frustrated.
Well, not necessarily. Like the reason I was frustrated this morning was because I misunderstood an instruction and I'm out of compliance. I'm out of an integrity with something I'm committed to doing. So I'm like, I'm sitting here and I have this thing that I should have had done by 8:30 isn't done.
Ah, bummer. All right, then
Well, it's
let's
too
wrap
late now.
this
I'm
up.
already out of compliance. So we'll see how it goes.
All right. Well, okay. All right. Okay.
And I informed the persons that are involved. I said, I misunderstood the instructions and I will be in integrity again within the hour. So we'll see how that goes. If that
Well,
has
so like part of humanity is the allowance for that kind of stuff, misunderstanding. It's not purposeful, and one isn't setting out to create trouble, but we do. Like misunderstanding is understood as a misunderstanding in hindsight. 45 minutes ago, you thought you were in total compliance with everything you had agreed to.
right. And I mean, I could talk a little bit more about how the information changed between yesterday and today, and how when I got the information yesterday, I was in compliance yesterday, but I was told I was a day early. But the information that I was early on yesterday, the timing changed. It moved from 10:30 to 8:30. And I'm like, I don't care. I want to do it. That's clear. I want to do it. I want the thing that needs to get done. I want to do.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it as soon as I'm done here. And you know, someone has set up a structural thing that is a prerequisite for participation. And so if we want to get super technical, I could theoretically be no longer allowed to participate as a result of being out of compliance. In that sense, it's a great test of the system. It's what happens when someone's out of integrity? What are they going to do? What complicates it is that I'm considered a leader in this environment. So having a leader who's out of compliance, out of integrity, complicates it for the other leader who's technically the more of a leader than me, right? So I'm curious. Like what I did was immediately, which is why you noticed me when we were in our production meeting, I suddenly was not paying attention to what we were doing because I was like, oh, I need to make it clear that I'm aware I'm out of integrity. And so I did that. And there wasn't any excuses. There wasn't any, like, I didn't blame him for changing the time. Right. And at like, I don't know, 11 o'clock last night, the rules changed. And I got a notification that I saw this morning, but I didn't read it carefully enough to realize the time had sort of shifted.
Well, yeah. So, boy, let's just say humanity has frailties and elements of challenge. There's walls. Tear down the wall. I want to share something with you that I received this weekend because it was Father's Day.
Yeah.
And throughout my years as a father, my children have continually made me T-shirts that they paint and for Father's Day or birthday. And it got to a point like they'd get holes in them, they wore out, and I gave them. Liz was originally going to create something with them. She wasn't sure what. This weekend, I received from my children a quilt they've made from all the T-shirts,
That's
and
beautiful.
it was amazing. I'm just really filled with joy. That's why I'm alive.
For joy.
For joy.
Yeah. Good for you.
All right, brother. Well, let's call it a day.
Oh, we
Let's
got a visitor.
record
Nice to
Friday.
see you, visitor. Yeah, let's call it a day.
Who's
Thanks
our
for dropping
wonderful-
by. Hope you got to hear the important parts. And if you didn't, it'll be on YouTube.
Hey, do you
Anyway,
have a, wait. Do you have a father's joke we can end on? A daddy joke in honor of Father's Day?
I thought we did that already.
Yeah, well, let's do it again. What the fuck?
Okay. Oh, we lost our person. Anyway. Did you hear the one about the jump rope?
No.
Skip it.